views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hola, everyone. Welcome to Open, the one and only show bringing the best of the Bronx, New York, and the world straight to you. I'm Rina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll learn about the inspiration behind Poe Park Visitor Center's current exhibition, The Bronx Meets Africa. And then we'll find out how the Five Boroughs Music Festival is bringing world-class affordable chamber music to all corners of New York City. After that, we'll sit down with artist Victoria Manganiello to discover how she is incorporating her art into an interactive dinner as part of New York's Textile Month. And later on in the show, Bobby C brings us up to date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And finally, welcome back, Conversing with Oceans, to our Open Artist stage. And, well, we're going to learn about their involvement in an upcoming benefit show, Stand Against Hate. So, sit back y prepárate. All this and more is coming your way, because now we are officially open. Hello and welcome to Open, everyone. I'm Rina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche, for the next hour. Always inviting you to get social with us. That's right, online, that is. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, don't forget, while you're there, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, FB, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Insta Stories at Rina Valentin. Okay, so going on now through the end of September, the Poe Park Visitor Center has on display their latest exhibit, The Bronx Meets Africa. And, well, this exhibit showcases East African artists and their connection to the Bronx community. And joining us now to tell us more, we welcome the creator of the exhibit, Bronx Meets Africa, Sika Foya, along with Elegua Wycliffe, also known as Swift. He's one of the artists from the exhibit, and of Lucia Ponte, director of Poe Park Visitor Center. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I would like to just begin with Lucy because, well, Poe Park Center has a lot of activities that are happening in the month of September. And so what I'd like to know is, how do you decide your curations? Like, how do you decide the themes, and are they related to the months in which you're exhibiting?
They're not necessarily related to the month we're exhibiting, though many times they are, such as our winter show, which happens in the holidays. But artists come to me, or I get a call, and I speak with someone, and we talk about an idea, and it sounds fabulous, and then we start to coordinate and get together, and we hash out the idea, and then we plan. If it's something that looks like it's great for the Bronx, and it's great for the exhibition, then it goes on our calendar.
So, Sika, with you being the curator, can you enlighten us a little bit about the history of the Africans that reside in the Bronx and what your curation is based off of?
Yes, thank you for having us. East Africa, believe it or not, the highest population is in the Bronx compared to like Brooklyn, Manhattan, or Harlem. And most of the time, when we think about Africa, we think about West Africa. We don't think about East Africa. Mm-hmm. So we decided to showcase East African because they're here, they reside here, they live here, they go to work, and they're realizing their American dreams. So the best way to showcase who they are and where they come from is to bring artists from East Africa. And then we approached Lucy through Fabio. We call him the pianist without borders. He traveled the world playing piano publicly, and they donate piano to orphanage, homeless people. So we met with him in Uganda, and he told us about Lucy and then the gallery, and then we start getting our artists together, and here we are.
And how many artists are being exhibited?
We have about 13 artists.
13.
Not all of them were able to come, mainly
Thank God.
because
I don't know if the segment's long enough. I mean, we would love to have them all,
yeah.
but I don't
So
know if we have the time.
I have an organization called Affirmative Art, and we do art, community engagement through art. And we affiliate with a school in Uganda. And through the school, we selected students, professors, and graduate students that completed the program from the school called NIAD. And that's how we got the students together to showcase their work. Swift, actually, he lives in
Okay,
Kenya.
wait, we have to talk a little bit about this, right? Because Elegua is a nice name. That's like a blessed name.
Yes, yeah.
And then you want to be A.K. Swift. Okay, let's talk a little bit about that.
Actually, it's my grandma who gave me that name,
Which one?
Swift.
Swift?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Elegua.
That one too.
That one too?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about both names really quickly.
Swift basically is a graffiti name that I use, and it's short. But Elegua is my surname, and it's very African. I love it.
I love it too.
Yeah. Thanks.
So let's talk a little bit about your art. Do we have any of his artwork?
We have one that I sent. It's the lady nursing the baby. I don't
Okay,
know
well,
if
if we
that.
have it,
Yeah.
they'll show it.
Okay.
But I do want to hear from you how long you've been an artist and what inspires your artistry.
I've been an artist for 10 years now, and basically I feel like my inspiration comes from every person I meet every day, and what we talk about, their experiences, my experiences, and how we interact with each other. That's my main
Okay,
inspiration.
so we are looking at this. Is this his work?
This is not his work.
That's not
This
his work,
not-
but this is a kind
yeah,
of
this
art.
is his work.
This
yeah.
is his
Yeah,
work.
this is his work.
This,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
wow, that's inside,
Yeah.
as a matter of speaking.
And the way this came about, they visited the Omo village. It's like a small community in Ethiopia, and they're very reclusive, and they paint their bodies as art. So they went there, he went there and I said, now let's paint the way you paint your body on a canvas.
On canvas.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
and
nice.
it was their first time actually experiencing proper paint, using brushes, painting on canvas, because all they do is just paint on their bodies, and they normally use mud, which they get from the river, and they mix with leaves and create dyes, and this just create colorful designs on their body.
Natural dyes
Yes.
from nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that a little bit later in
Great.
another segment, but it's nice to have it all related. And so just because I saw it in your images, there's I guess inside look is what I referenced, right? It's like you kind of go inside human beings.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that. He
Well,
knows what I'm talking about. I just saw it like really quick. So
Yeah,
that's what I was asking, like what inspires your work?
Well, I mean, for me, every day I get to meet different people. I mean, being a graffiti artist, I end up painting in slum areas, but then the next day I end up painting in some fancy office. Then the next day I'm painting in some criminal-infested area. So these kind of interactions make me meet with these people, and at the end of the day, all these are human beings, you know? So we
Nice.
don't need to judge someone because of, I mean, the way they dress or the way they appear, but at the end of the day, it's who they are inside.
I
And
love
that's
it.
what I
Yeah.
try to bring artistically.
Beautiful. I'm looking
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing your work. And thank you for saying that, because the world needs more of that mentality or that outlook in life. It's like we're all human beings, right? And so how long is this exhibit up for?
So the exhibit is up until the end of this month. The last Saturday of the month, we have the closing reception with the artists being there and Sika
And
as
we,
well.
we're inviting the Bronx community and the artists from the Bronx to come meet the artists. And the idea is this is the beginning. Now the next show will be East Africa Meet the Bronx, and we want to showcase Bronx community artists in East Africa. It will be in Uganda and in Kenya. So this is a beginning to have a cultural conversation about who we are, no matter where we are.
So this one is Bronx meets Africa, and the other one is
will
going to be
Africa meets the Bronx. Yes.
And the difference is that you guys went to Africa and did this work, and the art represents that. And then the next exhibit will be the Africans that reside here in the Bronx.
Right, yeah.
Well, the artists from the Bronx.
Right,
the
artists
the
from the Bronx.
African
Right.
artists in the Bronx. Right.
Not only
No,
the
not only
African, but
Africans. Okay.
Bronx
the Bronx
artists.
artists.
Bronx artists.
Yeah.
Bronx artists.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
I just want to see where we're all
Yes,
going with
yeah.
this. Is we're all
Because
one big
Bronx
family
is
anyway, right?
exactly, and we want to know who they are. You know, are we that different from each other, whether
Okay.
we're in the Bronx or in?
This is
Beautiful.
the second the Bronx meets
All right.
another culture, the second one.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well done. Great
Thank
work,
you.
Lucy.
Thank you.
No, thank you
Thank
for
you.
bringing it right here, and it's
I'm
very
excited
local.
about
We're
this.
excited about
I'm so
it.
glad he was able to make it. So I
Love
had
it.
to
Love
embrace
it.
him.
Beautiful, wonderful. Guys, I'm looking forward to it. And for you guys, you make sure you check out the Bronx Meets Africa exhibit on display now until the end of September, and that's happening at Poe Park Visitor Center, located on 2640 Grand Concourse in the Bronx. And for more information, you can call 718-365-5516. And we are taking a quick break, but coming up, we'll learn about a classical music festival coming right here to our borough. So stay tuned.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Hello, welcome back to Open, everyone. You know, always inviting you to get social with us. That's right. Tweet us at BronxNet TV and tweet me too while you're there at Reina Valentin. It is the mission of the Five Boroughs Music Festival to bring world-class affordable chamber music to all areas of New York City. And on September 17th, they are bringing the Bronx community the Five Boroughs Songbook Volume 2 as part of their mission. And joining us now to share more, we welcome the founder and artistic director of the Five Boroughs Music Festival, Jesse Blumberg.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me, Rena.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for this amazing work
Thanks.
that you have been doing for over a decade.
Yeah, we just started our 11th season.
Congrats
In fact,
on
we will
that.
this weekend.
Right,
Yeah.
and you're doing it Staten Island and the Bronx?
Exactly. So the Five Borough Songbook is a collection of 20 songs by 20 different composers that we commissioned, and they had their world premiere back in February. But as a celebration of our first decade, we're doing them in every borough. So this will be the Staten Island and Bronx premieres this weekend.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
and we're so happy to have you here to share this
thank you.
wonderful information. And I was scrolling through the website, and I noticed that, well, we can talk a little bit about how you choose your composers, your lyricists, and poets. I noticed that some of the work is comical, which I found
Yeah.
very fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, New York can be a pretty comical place. So we want to celebrate all facets of this city, and that can be very serious and very comical. We did this songbook 5 years ago for our 5th anniversary season, and I think there were probably more comical songs that time, but we give very free rein to the composers, and we ask them to write about whatever they want, choose their poets, choose their lyricists, librettists, and it could be that everyone's in a more serious mood this time, I don't know, but we do have some really funny stuff and some really, really beautiful songs.
I just think it's really cool because I think when you think of chamber music, the first thing that pops in your head is like, it's really, you know, serious classical sounds,
Right.
and, you know, you have to be dressed up and
Yeah.
and to
I don't think we'll be too dressed up this weekend.
No?
I think we want to be approachable. We want to be accessible, and throughout our first decade, and I think into our second, we're employing a very broad definition of chamber music. So it's not just a pianist and a violinist and a cellist doing very serious 19th century music anymore. That's great, and we do that sometimes. But we've had jazz, we've had folk, we've had other non-classical forms, some crossover type things. We've been in all sorts of venues. So our mission is to present the best chamber music we can find in as many different genres, and many different locations and venues, and And we've been to the Bronx at least once a year for the first decade. And this year, actually, we're here three times, and that's a first for us. So it's great to be here on BronxNet talking about how often we'll be in the Bronx this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What I really appreciate is just the fact that you are making it approachable and accessible. And so let's just talk a little bit about your audience and how because it's in our backyard now, so it's not something that you have to go to Carnegie Hall to listen to.
Yeah, and that was a big thing we thought about when we started the festival. My colleague and great friend Donna Breitzer and I founded it together in 2007, and we first started thinking about what about a series in the Bronx? What about a series in Brooklyn? What about thinking outside of this Manhattan-centric box of classical music programming specifically? And we knew so many wonderful artists, visual artists, performing artists who were living everywhere but Manhattan, but everyone was still feeling like they were expected to go into Manhattan for their culture consumption. And I think the new music, in particular, and new visual art has helped break people out of that Manhattan-centric box a lot. So I'm not sure that we're necessarily trendsetters, but what we try to do is...
I think you're trendsetters.
Well,
I
thank
do.
you.
I was listening to this last night, and I was like,
Nice.
this is really cool.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, no, I could totally see you like doing some like really funky. Well, I mean, everybody's probably sick of the song Despacito, but I mean, we love it. No, but I could totally see that being transferred into chamber music.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, I'm
it looks
sure.
like you guys. That's the style the direction you're going in.
Yeah, I think we just try to get to as many different venues as possible. The mission in terms of reaching audiences is kind of twofold. We want someone from Manhattan to explore the journey, to go on the Staten Island ferry for the first time in 10 years or ever. Some people think it still costs 50 cents, which means they haven't been on the ferry in a very, very long time.
Right.
And to come to beautiful Riverdale this weekend for the Bronx premiere of the Five Borough Songbook, and but also I think it's even more crucial for us to reach local audiences where they are and to show them that these wonderful concerts of all different kinds of chamber music are happening in their neighborhoods. And we always like to say your neighborhood could be next. So you tell us your neighborhood and we'll try to get a concert there.
Love it. And so I do have to ask about how Bimbo Rivas made it into this, right? Because when I saw his work in there, I said, oh my gosh, okay, that's why I wanted to know, like, how do you pick your poets and your lyricists? Because I was like, oh my gosh, they're honoring Bimbo Rivas.
Yeah, I was really excited to get to know his work. And it was through the composer Jessie Montgomery who decided to write a song. She grew up in the Lower East Side, and she knew him and his family, and she felt like he was, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but I think she felt like he had a real influence on her family and her neighborhood and her upbringing. So she really wanted to honor him by choosing this poem of his that honors that neighborhood for sure. And it's actually the only song in the collection this time that has no piano, which is really interesting. It's just mezzo-soprano, voice, and cello. So it's a real conversation. It's very, very wonderful.
Well, obviously, Bimbo Rivas is a legend within the Latino community because he was very influential in just making sure we were present within the Lower East Side, and as well as the arts, because we're all artists. And as far as first and foremost, we're all artists. Yeah. And so it was just really refreshing to see his name.
I'm glad. And we have some Bronx-specific composers and poets this time around. There's a collaboration between the composer Laura Kaminsky, and she chose a poet named Leah Madry, who lives in the Bronx as well, and they wrote a wonderful song together. Missy Mazzoli, I don't think she lives in the Bronx, but she set part of Federico Garcia Lorca's Ode to Walt Whitman, which was written in the 1920s while he was living here in New York, and she calls it Lorca in the Bronx. I'm forgetting some others right now, but there's a song called Riverdale by Hannah Lash, and a lot of Bronx-specific music this time.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I love the style in which you're making sure we're documented and that our voices are heard in this wonderful classical form, yet kind of keeping it fresh.
I'm glad you enjoy it. I hope you can make it on
I
Sunday.
hope they can make it. I hope everybody can make it.
Thanks
because
for checking
I
it
think
out.
it's a wonderful experience that us urban individuals need to explore a little further.
It's about celebrating New York too, and I think our festival does nothing if it doesn't celebrate New York and its musicians and its culture. So that's what we try to do.
Well, thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your work, Jesse
Thank you.
Blumberg. And once again, you guys, be sure to check out the Five Boroughs Songbook Volume 2. It's happening on Sunday, September 17th at 5 p.m. And that's happening at Riverdale Yonkers Society for Ethical Culture, located on 4450 Philston Road in Riverdale. And for more information, you can visit 5bmf.org. That's 5bmf.org. All right, we're taking a quick break, but stick around to learn about an interactive dinner experience that's part of the New York Textile Month. Stay tuned for that. Welcome back to Open, everyone. You know, always making sure you stay connected. And the way you can do that is by liking us on Facebook. That's right, Open BronxNet Television, mi gente. So, Ferragosto is an Italian tradition that began all the way back in 18 BC. And as a celebration to mark the end of the harvest season and bringing family and friends together, well, we were out there at Bronx, in the Arthur Avenue, that is, and because they've adopted this tradition, and it brings it to the borough's own little Italy here in the Bronx. And BronxNet reporter Justin Rodriguez has the story.
Okay, BronxNet, so this is the real Ferragosto.
Beginning in 18 BC, Ferragosto is a traditional Italian celebration that recognizes the end of the harvest season, as well as the gathering and honoring of both family and friends. Here in the Bronx, Arthur Avenue has adopted this tradition, bringing the cultural richness of the people right to the borough's own Little Italy.
When you come to Arthur Avenue, you always have a great experience. But on Ferragosto, in Italy, they just go to the mountains and relax. On Arthur Avenue, we invite everybody.
For me, Ferragosto has become a tradition. And when people ask me, give me a word to describe Ferragosto, to me, it's family.
With the neighborhood packed with people of all ages, the authentic and historical Arthur Avenue businesses set up shop right on the street, allowing family members from each generation to take part in the tradition of Ferragosto.
We love it. It's tradition. My kids have been doing it since they've been born, and memories, great memories.
My grandfather owns Mario's. We've been here for almost 100 years, and I come out here every year and we sell pizza outside. I love being a part of it.
The colorful festival also welcomes back community members that once called Arthur Avenue home.
Love it. We've been coming every year since it started. This is my home away from home.
The Belmont section of the Bronx once again captures the essence of Ferragosto through its colorful and vibrant culture that makes up Italy and its people. This is Justin Rodriguez reporting for BronxNet.
Thank you, Justin Rodriguez, and welcome back to the studio, everyone. Artist Victoria Manganiello, well, she creates paintings by spinning, dyeing, and weaving her own canvases and using mixed materials such as dyes, cotton, and silk. And on September 20th and 27th, guests are invited to participate in her interactive dinner as part of the New York Textile Month. And well, at this dinner, guests will be served a vegetarian meal served on a tablecloth she has woven by hand. So she's going to tell us some more. Please welcome artist Victoria Manganiello.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Boy, I wonder what happens in that mind of yours. I mean, I meet artists from all walks of life, but I have yet to come across anything like this. It is fabulous. This is an amazing concept.
Oh, I'm glad you think so.
Where did it come from? Inquiring minds want to know if you ate messy.
I probably have been eating messy since I was a kid, but actually I love to remind people that the colors that we're familiar with on our garments and everything around us, now they're synthetic, but it was only about 150 years ago that we invented synthetic dye. Before that, everything came from natural material like food.
As discussed earlier, right?
Yeah,
In the previous segment, lovely segue, right? So, God, let's talk a little bit about, I guess, why you're using this as, well, even for educational purposes.
Well, in addition to being an artist, I'm also an educator, and I teach yarn spinning, cloth dyeing, and cloth weaving to university students studying art and fashion. And I think it's important that they understand how the things that they're working with are made and where the traditions come from. I also love to point out that these processes of natural dye are something that happen all around the world. So something like dyeing this green color with an onion skin.
So we're looking at an image right now. Oh, there. Now we can show you. Yeah, no. Show us what you were going to show us.
So something as familiar as an onion, which is used in cooking all around the world in all different kinds of cuisine, is going to, when prepared in the right way, give us this really deep green color. So when I was experimenting with making different colors in my studio and I was using these objects that I was also cooking with, I thought, why not combine those two things? And the ritual of eating and dinner is something that's so rich and connected to tradition and family. I wanted to open up my home and explore that with other guests.
Okay, so you have these two items next to each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And are you telling me that's what gave it that color?
Yeah, the skin.
So this skin gave the yarn that color?
Yes. Yeah. And it's not just simply going to be placing the onion skin right on the wool. It's a process that's going to include things like salts and minerals, heat, and time. So when I serve the food to my guests, I prepare it in such a way that it will leave a lasting color mark. Have you ever spilled coffee on your blouse or maybe some tomato sauce and it leaves a stain?
Mm-hmm.
A stain is not going to stay permanently. You can wash it out, you can use a chemical, but a dye is something that's permanent. And actually the word mordant, which is the title of my project, it's a French word that means to bite. And in textiles we use it to describe the fiber of the cloth sort of biting the color and consuming it.
Cute, nice, clever. And so this cloth, is that also, the colors also created from the food?
Yes.
Okay, can we show this to everyone?
So
this is so fascinating.
So I've brought some color swatches from my sample book just to show you the potential. So these are all different colors that can be found from hibiscus. So with the dinner I'll be serving a hibiscus sumac tea. So we'll get to see some of these colors. We've got pomegranate, avocado, and turmeric. So these are all really familiar things.
And healthy things.
And healthy, yeah.
Yes.
I love to cook and I love people, so I thought why not cook them a meal and invite them to enjoy it upon a tablecloth that I've woven myself.
Okay, so the last item over here is sage,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have a rope.
This is
that's yarn also.
Yeah, this is yarn
also.
also.
Thicker yarn.
Thicker yarn, but it's been dyed with the sage. So again, this is something you can buy in the supermarket. But when you prepare it in the proper way, it will leave a lasting. This is a permanent color.
Does it take on the scent?
This should have been washed out properly.
No, it has the scent of sage. I don't mind it.
Yeah, it's a good smell. And maybe because it's been sitting with the sage there.
I love sage. and does this have the scent of avocado?
Does it?
I'm just, it's a very fascinating process that
yeah.
I'm unfamiliar with.
So at the dinners, the way that it works is I serve this meal that I've prepared directly upon the cloth that I've woven myself. And I'm asking the people who attend to enjoy the dinner like they would any other, sort of reminiscent of the dinners that they've experienced with their family and in traditional settings. But I'm serving it in a certain peculiar way. So I have plates with holes in them and glasses that are too small, and some things are served directly upon the cloth. So you're really interacting. And
oh my gosh, it's like being at a playground at the table, right? I mean, children would love this. I don't know if it's age specific, the event itself, because we didn't mention whether wine was going to be served or anything like that. Of course, there's my motivation. And so just visually, they're using, the tables are covered with the cloths that are already dyed. Right? And
no, I'm sorry, the cloth has not been dyed yet.
Oh, it hasn't.
So it's going to get its color from the meal that we consume together.
And then it becomes this abstract art, which is another aspect to her work that I saw on your website. And so this is, wow. How did you come up with all of this?
I think it's just been a part of my process making my own colors. I've just been thinking about the different ways that I can connect. And as an educator, I really find that it's important we understand how things are made. I also love that textile and food are things that we share with anybody, no matter our status, our gender, our age, our race. It's just something that everybody can enjoy. So I'm going to be traveling this project. We're starting here in New York with the dinners that are happening in the next 2 weeks, and then we're hoping to travel around so that we can see the differences, the different marks that are made by different people, by different foods and ingredients and recipes and different textile traditions.
And then what do you do with the tablecloths?
I'm going to turn them into paintings.
You are going to turn them into paintings.
And for me, they feel like collaborations with all of the people who've come and eaten the meal with me. We end up putting it up on the wall, and sometimes people will come and say, oh, I think that was where I was sitting, or they remember the ingredients, they remember the conversation that they were having, and it's sort of an homage to a particular evening.
So can you share what's on the menu?
I haven't sort of set out the menus for the upcoming weeks, but I can tell you that the last dinner we had a hibiscus sumac tea, we had a red cabbage, red onion, walnut, elderberry salad, deep fried avocado in an avocado pit crust, which is, they say, a superfood, the pit.
Nice.
And a turmeric glaze. We had a blueberry basil upside down cake, coffee, wine, and a couple of other delicious treats.
It sounds delicious. It sounds fun.
It is fun, and another important part of this project is actually a collaboration with filmmaker Kristen Kremers. I've been conducting these dinners in my home and in my studio space, but when I met Kristen, she has sort of pushed me to take the project a little bit outside that personal space, and together we are making a film about the project, but also this film is going to be about the ubiquitous nature of textiles. Like I mentioned before, it's something we all can share. So we're hoping this film is going to be raising questions.
So there's a film component as well.
We're in the process of making the film.
But will these dinners be documented?
Yes.
Yes, yes. Wow, very fascinating. So then you have that aspect of capturing the colors and just the experience. Very fascinating. I got to tell you, thank you for sharing it here with our viewers.
Pleasure.
And is there anywhere that they need to make reservations in order to participate?
Yes, you can go to mordant-film.com, and we will be having 2 dinners here in New York. The first of which is next Wednesday, September 20, from 6 to 9, and then the following is September 27, also from 6 to 9.
Oh my goodness, Victoria, you inspired me. It's like,
it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you for being here and also for inspiring us to eat healthy, right? And while creating art. It's healthy artists. I love it. Love it, love it. Mordant Dinner, once again, you people, is taking place on September 20th and 27th, 6 p.m. at El Dil Court, right? Did I say that right? El Dil Court. And that's located on 354 West 11th Street. And to learn more, you can visit victoriamanganiello.com, and that is victoriamanganiello.com. Okay, we have to take a quick break, but coming up, Bobby C. catches us up to date with the latest from the world of sports. Don't go anywhere.
We begin on the baseball diamond where the reigning American League champions are hotter than hot. The Cleveland Indians added a walk-off win to a streak that has had everything. Former Met Jay Bruce hit an RBI double in the 10th inning as the Indians rallied for their 22nd straight win to extend their AL record, beating the Kansas City Royals 3-2 on Thursday night to move within 4 wins of matching the 1916 New York Giants for the longest streak in Major League history. I bet Bruce is pretty good with the trade from the Mets midseason. You think? The Indians have won 22 games in a row and are eyeing a Major League record of 26. The Dodgers also snapped their double-digit losing streak this week. That could be a World Series matchup in the making. The Bronx Bombers overwhelmed the Baltimore Orioles Thursday night in their return to the BX. The Yankees won 13-5, backed by 2 more homers from Aaron Judge. Judge became the second Major League rookie to hit 40 homers. He now has 43. The 25-year-old joined Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, and Mickey Mantle as the only Yankees to hit 40 homers at age 25 or younger. Jacoby Ellsbury set a Yankee record too this past week. On his 34th birthday, no less, the outfielder set an obscure Major League record for catcher's interferences marks. He's certainly worth his very large contract now. Well, maybe not, but Jacoby has played much better this season for the Yankees. Mets rookie first baseman Dominic Smith entered September in a 7-for-50 slump, batting just .140 with only 3 extra base hits in 15 games. However, during 10 games and 42 plate appearances during the month of September, Smith is batting .289 with a .357 on base, 2 homers, 3 doubles, and 8 RBI. Nonetheless, the Amazons were no match for the suddenly hot Chicago Cubs. The World Series Cubbies, the reigning champs, of course, bested the Mets 14-6 Thursday night. The Mets will be in Atlanta for the weekend, while the Yankees continue their homestand with the Orioles. We also have a David Wright update. Just days after having his rotator cuff surgically repaired, the captain said he hopes to play next year if he responds well from the surgery. Japanese phenom Ohtani was called intriguing by Yankee manager Joe Girardi this week. He boasts a higher strikeout rate than Clayton Kershaw and better home run rate than Bryce Harper in Japan, of course. The question now is which big league team will let him play both ways? He's a slugger and a pitcher. Down on the farm, the Yankees are getting some terrific returns for the future. Prospect Dylan Tate is showing starter potential. He was acquired last season in the Carlos Beltran deal. The Trenton right-hander has restored his old delivery and his stuff has returned since he was a first-round pick. This year has been nothing short of magical for AA Trenton. The Yankees affiliate tied its own record with 92 wins in a season, won the Eastern League's Eastern Division, and on Friday night, Trenton made history with a combined no-hitter between left-hander Justice Sheffield and right-hander Taylor Widener. Sheffield threw the first 4 innings and Widener tossed the final 5 to complete the feat. They combined for 2 walks and 10 strikeouts. Meanwhile, the Yankees AAA team is playing in the Governor's Cup Finals against the Durham Bulls, eyeing a championship in AAA. The IndyCar title comes down to this weekend in Sonoma, and that was thanks to the race action 2 weeks ago in Watkins Glen. Here's more.
Scott Dixon, Alexander Rossi is the new ruler of Watkins Glen. At least that was the story this year. Rossi won the 60-lap race at iconic Watkins Glen International from the pole position. On the same weekend it was announced he would return to Andretti Autosport next season.
To be able to do this today, to have a 12-lap shootout against Scott on the same equipment, starting 1 and 2 on the restart and being able to go and prove that I can beat him was pretty cool as well.
The 25-year-old Californian led a race-high 32 laps and drove the number 98 Napa Auto Parts Honda across the finish line and ahead of 4-time Glen winner Dixon.
Never raced Joseph really in a championship like this, and you know it's not just the 2 of us. I haven't seen the points clearly yet, but I imagine Elio's still there. I imagine Pagenaud's still there as well. So you know with double points you can have a pretty hefty swing.
Ryan Hunter-Ray took 3rd to give Honda the sweep. Hunter-Ray and Rossi also gave Andretti 2 podium finishers.
It's always fun when you're dealing with a track that's changing conditions like that because you have to search around and you can get big advantages or you can lose a lot of big disadvantages.
Rossi overcame a malfunctioning fuel probe on his 2nd pit stop. From there, Rossi laid down laps at near qualifying pace, regaining the lead on lap 29 and building an advantage of more than 12 seconds. Rossi kept Dixon at bay over the 11-lap dash to the finish.
With the fuel issue, I thought we were pretty much done. So we were fortunate, like I said, to have that yellow come out to where it negated those little things that had gone wrong. Today that we've done that, I think it's again another step in just internally and subconsciously proving to everyone on the team that we can do it and we have the capability, and it just makes hopefully those next wins and podiums come that much easier.
Don't count out Scott Dixon. He is among the greatest race car drivers the Indy Series has ever seen. Time for some quick hitters from around the world of sports. NASCAR driver Danica Patrick says she will not drive for Stewart-Haas Racing after this season, telling fans in a note on her Facebook page, "My time driving for them has come to an end due to a new sponsorship arrangement in 2018. She did not reveal what her plans for next season would be. I would recommend a return to IndyCar. It would be great for her and for the sport." Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin goes down this weekend in Las Vegas. It should be the best boxing match of the year. I'll take the beefed up underdog Alvarez for the win. The UFC stripped John Jones of the light heavyweight championship title Wednesday following his positive drug test and reinstated Daniel Cormier as champion. Jones tested positive for a steroid prior to his July 29 title fight against Cormier, which he won in a third-round TKO. The second sample from Jones's failed test also came back positive Tuesday, and the Cormier fight was subsequently ruled a no contest by the California State Athletic Commission. The 30-year-old was previously banned for a year after failing a doping test in the run-up to a title fight against Cormier in July 2016. A group of self-described anti-racist protesters were escorted from Fenway Park on Wednesday night after draping a banner over the green monster that read, "Racism is as American as baseball." Tough times we live in these days. Former Knicks star Charles Oakley has filed a civil suit stemming from his run-in with MSG Security in February. The lawsuit includes several causes of action, including defamation, libel, and slander. The Knicks are reportedly getting closer to inking veteran guard Jarrett Jack, formerly of the Nets. Kristaps Porzingis and LeBron James are in an elite club. They are the only players in NBA history to amass 1,000 rebounds, 150 made threes, and 100 blocks in their first 2 seasons in the NBA. The list of players who've compiled 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, 250 blocks, and 100 made three-pointers in their first 2 seasons is even smaller. It's just Porzingis. ESPN has Porzingis ranked number 22. Teammate Carmelo Anthony is not pleased with his ESPN rank after coming in at number 31 last year. Anthony plummeted out of the top 50 all the way to number 64, sandwiched between Boston Celtics guard Marcus Smart and Los Angeles Lakers guard Lonzo Ball, a rookie who's never played in the league. Anthony took to social media to air his frustration. Free agent center Tyler Zeller has agreed to a 2-year deal with the Brooklyn Nets. Zeller, 27, will compete for minutes behind the Nets' expected starting center Timofey Mozgov. From the WNBA hardwood, New York had won 10 straight. Connecticut had kept proving critics wrong, but the WNBA's 3rd and 4th seeds are out of the playoffs after getting upset at home last Sunday. Washington and Phoenix advanced in the semifinals. College football heads into week 3. Some early season surprises, including an Ohio State defeat to number 5 Oklahoma, 31-16 final there. Alabama, Oklahoma, Clemson, USC, and Penn State round out the top 5 of the top 25. They are all 2-0. Closer to home, Fordham football got crushed by Army 64-6 in the opener on September 1st. The Rams bounced back, though, with a 38-31 win on the 9th against Central Connecticut State. They'll have Eastern Washington in their home opener Saturday at Rose Hill. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. From the NFL gridiron, the Giants obviously missed Odell Beckham Jr. in their season opener. His bum ankle could also cause him to miss the Monday night home opener against the Detroit Lions. Odell says the injury is a 6 to 8 week thing. Sunday night marked Big Blue's first time failing to score a touchdown in week 1 since getting shut out by the Dallas Cowboys in 1995. Dallas is now 9-1 all time against the Giants in season openers, with the only loss coming last season. Eli Manning didn't have a good night throwing the ball in the disappointing 19-3 loss to the Cowboys. The offensive line was terrible, not to make excuses. It was Manning's 200th consecutive regular season start, but the football gods are going to catch up with him if the offensive line doesn't find a way to create a pocket for him and let him get off his throws more cleanly. No matter how experienced a quarterback is, the first instinct is still self-preservation. It wasn't that Manning was hearing footsteps. He was actually seeing real 280-pound football players charging right at him. I was wrong about the Giants pick, but I still think Beckham would have been a difference maker in the opener, and his absence, if extended, could be a major problem for the football Giants. I was right about the Jets pick. Unfortunately, they fell in Buffalo in week 1. The Jets will keep their eyes out west, where UCLA's Josh Rosen and USC's Sam Darnold continue to look the part of star quarterbacks. Expect Gang Green to have a top pick this season. They are in Oakland this weekend. Sloane Stephens' remarkable rapid rise from a ranking of 957 in early August to U.S. Open champion began with the slow work of coming back from surgery on her left foot. After being off the tour for 11 months because of her injury, Stephens easily beat her close friend Madison Keys 6-3, 6-0 in the first Grand Slam final for both, becoming only the second unseeded woman to win the tournament in the Open era, which began in 1968. She also beat Venus Williams to reach the Open final. Rafael Nadal won his third U.S. Open and 16th Grand Slam title with a one-sided victory over South Africa's Kevin Anderson in New York. The world #1 power to a 6-3, 6-3, 6-4 victory at Flushing Meadows. The Spaniard, now 31, has won 2 slams in the same year for the first time since 2013, having won the French Open in June. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for 2 interesting headlines from the world of sports radio. New York sports radio personality Craig Carton quit his dream job on WFAN Wednesday, saying he didn't want to be a distraction as he faces federal charges that he cheated investors to pay off gambling debts. Carton co-hosted Boomer and Carton with former NFL quarterback Boomer Esiason until his arrest last week on charges that he misappropriated at least $5.6 million from 2 investors. In a statement, he said, "Unfounded legal issues currently plaguing me will only be a distraction to everyone at WFAN and the show I helped build. I'm sad to see this chapter of my life close, but know that it will allow me to focus on my family, my well-being, and clearing my name while giving the show the best opportunity to succeed without further disruption," he said. He suggested that he would return someday to the airwaves. Carton quit a week after federal authorities arrested him, saying he used a Ponzi scheme to fool investors into giving him millions of dollars to pay off those gambling debts to casinos and elsewhere. Last weekend was some week for sports radio. Talk show host ESPN's radio host, Ryan Russillo, has to pay a $250 fine for drunkenly wandering into a stranger's apartment in the Wyoming resort town of Jackson. The case was closed after the fine was paid Wednesday in Jackson Municipal Court. Russillo was arrested for criminal trespass about 3:30 a.m. on August the 23rd after police were called about a drunken man refusing to leave their condominium. He has since publicly apologized on his radio show for his actions, saying he drank too much and mistakenly entered someone else's condo rather than his own hotel room. I just hate when that happens. Carton, who seems like he has a gambling problem, dug his own grave. If allegations are true, you won't be seeing or hearing from him in a very long time. As for Russillo, hopefully he's learned his lesson. Those radio guys, they got nothing on us TV guys. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.
It's not always easy being a dad.
Do you have panda asthma too? Does that run in the family?
This is the home of the most priceless kung fu artifacts.
But when you make an effort,
Dad, we're not supposed to touch anything. Oh, sorry.
Go along, son!
it's always worth it.
Whoa, master!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
I am gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
Welcome back to Open, everyone. It's now time for this week's Open Artist Spotlight.
The Open Artist Spotlight is made possible in part with public funds from the Bronx Council on the Arts through the New York State Council on the Arts Decentralization Program.
Today's spotlight shines on an artist who's let music become his anchor from an early age after he and his family fled from Russia during a time of unrest. Upon leaving his first band, he began his solo music project, Conversing with Oceans, with which he has recently released his second EP. And we are so happy to have him on here again. Performing now on our Open Artist stage, please welcome Conversing with Oceans.
We had that old damn day to sleep. I think we liked it for a while. We had that old damn year to try. Now we're so busy, my dear, just holding on to things I thought I'd die without. But do you really call that life, dear? Do you call it anything at all? Do you really call that life, dear? You asked me if there's something I like, and I said yeah, and I think that's courage. And you said, baby, well, you know that you're better than you think, so don't you stay discouraged. We had the old damn days. Huh. We had the old damn years. And so we ran from state to state, just you and I. Some days we drove each other wild, but then one day I watched you barely, just hanging on. You hit me, I was still a child. You asked me if there was something I liked, and I said yeah, and I think that's courage. And you said, baby, well, you know that you're better than you think, so don't you stay discouraged. Would you mind if I leaned on you sometime? It's just enough to get me through, till I stand as brave as you. You asked me if there was something I liked, and I said yeah, and I think that's courage. And you said, baby, well, if you know that better than you think, so don't you stay discouraged. You asked me if there's something that's courage. You said, baby, well, if you know that you're better than you think, so you stay discouraged.
Thank
you so much.
You guys get me so excited. I was on the sidelines as you saw, just
Yeah.
really vibing off of this. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here and bringing the entire band. You want to introduce everyone?
Yeah, so that's Danny Castro right here on drums, and this is Chris Ragone, and I'm Alex.
And thank you for being here
Thank
with us, guys. So, of course, we want to hear you play some more, and I want to make sure that we share with our viewers this wonderful concert that you're going to be, I guess, hosting, right?
Yep. Yeah, so we're playing Stand Against Hate in the Bronx, and we're raising funds for hurricane relief and for human rights, particularly the organizations ACLU and Peace First, which are two great nonprofits fighting the good fight. We're getting together with artists, local artists, and from beyond, as well as businesses, local businesses and other organizations that are all kind of joining us to stand in solidarity for the good fight.
Yeah, it is a good fight, and it's wonderful. And what made you choose the title Stand Against Hate?
I think, for me, the Bronx has always been a diverse and very inclusive, loving music community. And we're not seeing much of that in the world right now, so I want to make sure that the Bronx remains that and stands strongly for that. So it's more about standing for love and inclusion and welcoming everyone no matter who you are and where you're from, because for me that's what the Bronx has always been, and that's what the United States has always been too.
So how many groups are going to be performing?
There are 6 artists, and I believe there are 8 businesses right now that are joining us.
6 artists and 6 businesses. So how did the businesses work together with the artists?
So the businesses are going to be doing raffles, they're going to be doing donations. Actually, there's a business called 8-Bit Bake Shop, And they're bringing cupcakes that they make custom of the bands and the businesses as well. So they'll be raffling those off and donating.
All right, so you're gonna play for us one more time?
One more time.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you playing for us here and for you guys tuning in. And of course, the event is taking place on
Saturday, September 16th at Jimmy Ryan's.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much for the work
Thank
you're
you.
doing. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for being
Our
here.
pleasure.
We love you guys.
Thank
I
you.
love
Love
you
you.
guys. Conversing with Oceans. So you guys be sure to check them out. That's right. Conversing with Oceans at the benefit show Stand Against Hate. That is happening on Saturday, September 16th at Jimmy Ryan's, located on 3005 Middletown Road in the Bronx. And for more information, you can visit conversingwithoceans.com. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through. To you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recablecast tonight and 24 hours a day at BronxNet.tv. I'm Rena Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor, adios, and happy Hispanic Heritage Month to all my Latinos out there. Mwah. Adios. Conversing with Oceans, everyone.
I said, don't. No matter what you do, give our secret away. It's our secret and we're sworn to keep it. The sinner's watching and the clock is ticking on you. It's ticking on me too. But my God, baby, don't it feel good? Oh, just like the movies, or just like in Hollywood. You think we could do this? 'Cause oh, I swear I'll never give you up. They want me dead, by me in that cold, cold blood. Just like in Hollywood, yeah, just like the movies. 'Cause I'll never give you up. We promise to do this. Defectors say the center's on to you. There's nothing we can do. They should have tracked us down now. Down now. My God, baby, don't it feel good? You're just like the movies, or just like in Hollywood. You think we could do this? 'Cause oh, I swear I'll never give you up. They want me dead, find me in that cold, cold blood. Just like in Hollywood, yeah, just like the movies. 'Cause I'll never give you up. We promise to do this. Now it's down to the chasing. Please tell me it's a bad dream. Your divine eyes in slow motion, the most beautiful I've seen. Do we want it all? Do we risk too much? Now I'm here, baby, to die for your touch. 'Cause oh, I swear I'll never give you up. They want me dead, find me in that cold, cold blood. Just like in Hollywood, yeah, just